Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Steffy's unwavering struggle to outlaw Hope, a crucial battle at Forrester. Steffy Forrester will fight to keep Hope Logan out of Forrester Creations once more, according to spoilers and updates for The Bold and the Beautiful. This will set the stage for a fierce battle to the death of the fashion line and the job, that is, between these two rivals, with spectacular results. Good news from Ridge and Eric for Steffy. Steffy will get some shocking information the week of March 17th to 21st when Ridge and Eric Forrester reveal that Carter Walton has changed his mind. Carter has made the decision to destroy the LLC records and restore the Forresters' power, but only if Hope for the Future continues to function. After all that has happened, Steffy will get furious over Hope's continued employment at the company as soon as she finds out about this development. Steffy feels that Hope cannot be trusted to remain in the fold since she blames Hope for coercing Carter into this takeover. Steffy may still be skeptical of Hope for the Future's comeback, but she may soon have hard data to support her claims. Even if the numbers favor Hope, Steffy will not back down. Despite the apparent advantages for Hope, Steffy is adamant about opposing her participation in the family business. If Hope for the Future is finally gaining traction, Ridge and Eric may feel pressured to give in. But Steffy will probably fight and try to keep Hope out of the business altogether again. According to B&B spoilers, upheaval is imminent as this tension builds to a major showdown between Steffy and Hope. Hope for the Future and Hope's future role at Forrester Creations will be the source of conflict between the two. Hope's worst nightmare is going to be Steffy. It's crucial to remember that Hope earlier declared she was unable to resume following Steffy's instructions. Hope will be furious to hear that Carter has taken back control of Forrester because it means that Steffy will be involved in further problems. Even though Steffy will probably end up being Hope's toughest obstacle, it might be better than losing her line completely. This begs the question of whether Hope will follow Steffy's example. In any case, Steffy might do everything in her power to get her to go. According to upcoming spoilers, Hope and Steffy's animosity is expected to intensify, resulting in speculations of their upcoming conflicts. An ultimatum from Ridge and Eric to Carter, a conflict between legacy and loyalty in The Bold and the Beautiful. With floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Los Angeles cityscape, the boardroom of Forrester Creations was unnaturally quiet. Instead of the normal buzz of inspiration, there was a smothering strain. Carter Walton stood in the middle of the room, his well-tailored suit spotless, but his stance stiff, as though he were expecting a punch. While Eric Forrester, the family patriarch, sat with unusual solemnity, his worn hands clenched tightly. Ridge Forrester leaned forward across the table, his piercing gaze penetrating Carter's composed exterior. Decades of loyalty hung in the balance, and the air bristled with unspoken accusations. "Carter, you have two options," Ridge stated in a steady, quiet voice, each word cutting like a sword. "Get out of our company or fall in line." A betrayal of trust. Based on a secret Carter had promised to maintain, the dispute had been simmering for weeks. During a late-night strategy meeting months prior, Eric had told Carter about a $20 million deficit linked to a failed European expansion in Forrester Creations' offshore accounts. Eric had pleaded with Carter to handle it quietly out of concern for scandal. "No one, especially not Ridge, can know," Eric had begged, his voice shaking. "If he believes that I have lost control, he will destroy this family." Ever the faithful COO, Carter had concurred. But as he looked more, he discovered a more sinister reality. A high-ranking executive, someone in the family's close circle, had embezzled the money, not because of poor management. The trail eventually led to Finn, the husband of Steffy Forrester, whose gambling debt had gotten out of control. Carter had paused, looking for a covert means to pay back the debt, torn between exposing Finn and preserving Eric's legacy. In Los Angeles, however, secrets are rarely kept hidden. Ridge contacted Eric after finding questionable transactions during a routine audit, but he was treated with avoidance. Infuriated, Ridge had begun to suspect Carter, who was responsible for protecting the company's assets. The ultimatum, either fix it or leave. As Ridge slammed a packet of bank statements onto the table, he accused him of hiding something. I'm not trusting, but Dad is. Carter, where's the money? White-faced and quiet, Eric ducked Carter's eyes. It was evident how weak the patriarch was, his once dominant presence weakened by disease and shame. Carter's obligation to tell the truth clashed with his allegiance to Eric. He started off by carefully selecting his words. The situation is complicated. Difficult? Ridge sneered. It has taken you months to complicate our bankruptcy. The catch is that you have 48 hours to get every dime back. You're done if you don't. Nothing, no reference, no severance. At last, Eric's voice was fragile. Ridge and Carter's family. Threats are not all that we owe him. With fiery eyes, Ridge retorted, family doesn't lie. And he's lying to us right now. Carter's choice, preserve the Forresters or preserve his own life. Carter was by himself in his office, gazing at Finn's damning financial documents. Steffy, whose marriage was already strained due to Sheila Carter's machinations, would be devastated if she confronted Finn. But keeping quiet meant accepting responsibility and losing everything he had worked so hard to achieve. His ex-lover and Eric's estranged wife, Quinn Fuller, texted him, heard about the witch hunt, as his phone chimed. Come see me. I am able to assist. Quinn's cunning smile welcomed him to Il Giardino. With her martini spinning, she purred, Ridge is using you as a scapegoat. Disclose the real Finn. Allow the Forresters to collapse. After that, you and I start over from scratch. Carter flinched. Quinn, I'm not you. I refuse to destroy them. She shrugged and said, then you'll drown with them. You have a choice. The repercussions, betrayals and alliances. Carter met Finn at the design studio the following morning. I am aware of the debts. The theft. You must step down and return the money by noon. Finn's face went white. Steffi is unable to learn. Please. Overhearing, however, Steffi barged in with a volcanic rage. You lost millions of dollars gambling? How could you? Steffi's life came crashing down with Finn's revelation. He pleaded, I wanted to protect you, but Steffi's slap reverberated throughout the space. Leave. Right now. Ridge's cruelty, an exploit of power. Ridge cornered Carter after Finn was removed. You weren't entitled to deal with this on your own. Up till further notice, you are suspended. Eric stepped forward, his voice quivering with unusual rage. Ridge, Carter saved this family. Or would you rather that the embarrassment had caused me to collapse? The father-son divide was revealed by the altercation. In a coup camouflaged as protection, Ridge attempted to deny Eric the ability to vote because he was concerned about his deteriorating judgment. Carter's decision, rebellion or redemption. Brooke Logan discovered Carter brooding at the Cliff home. She offered an alliance, saying, You're the only one who sees this family clearly. Aid me in stopping Ridge. Carter, however, tired of the mayhem, took action. He started a shareholder uprising by leaking audio of Ridge's scheme to marginalize Eric during a board meeting. With a firm voice, Carter said, You're done, Ridge. Eric and everyone who works hard for it own this company. Hope discovers LLC papers destroyed after Carter's heartbreaking blow, a tempest of betrayal and resilience in the bold and the beautiful. A shining testament to wealth and tradition, the Forrester Creations offices was exposed to the intense light of the Los Angeles sun, its immaculate exterior concealing the internal turmoil. The company's unwavering COO, Carter Walton, paced his office like a beast in a cage, his brow dripping with sweat and his clean white shirt sleeves rolled to his elbows. A manila folder on his desk looked harmless to the uninitiated eye, but it contained the foundation of Hope Logan's future, the LLC documents for her Hope for the Future collection, which had been painstakingly prepared to land an exclusive deal with an environmentally concerned European shop. The $1 million sale, which had the potential to completely change Forrester's reputation around the world, was now in danger of falling through. And the man who had promised to protect it, Carter, had just learned the unimaginable: the papers were missing. A trust-based agreement. Hope came up with the collaboration as a passion project that combined sustainable fashion with the empowering philosophy of her brand. She had been negotiating for months to introduce a capsule collection made of materials obtained sustainably with the Parisian luxury consortium Lion & C. The LLC structure was essential since it complied with Forrester's business structure while legally protecting Hope's creative authority. Ever the devoted lieutenant, Carter had personally reviewed the documents and kept the only signed copy in his office safe. With uncommon optimism in her eyes, Hope had told him, "This is our future. You are the only one who touches these." Quinn Fuller, meanwhile, had not been accounted for by no one. Quinn's bet, a potential threat. A thorn in her side, Quinn, the estranged wife of Eric Forrester and a skilled manipulator, had looked on from the sidelines as Forrester Creations prospered under Carter and Hope's partnership. She had a practical grudge, not a personal one. She saw a chance to take back control when Ridge's loyalty soured and Eric's health deteriorated. But she needed leverage to accomplish that. The LLC documents were the ideal tool. At a late-night banquet a few days prior, Quinn had sneaked into Carter's office, her heels silent on the marble floors. She had removed the folder, taken pictures of every page, and then, in a fit of rage, fed the originals into the office shredder after picking the safe's latch with practiced ease, a technique she had developed when creating jewelry. Her music was the whir of the machine. The decline of Carter. At morning, Carter found the sabotage. With its contents reduced to confetti, the safe hung open. As he picked through the shards and found Hope's looping signature among the rubble, panic gnawed at his throat. A mocking text message from an unidentified number rang on his phone. "Even nights fall, Carter. Savor the aftermath. Q." The boardroom was a battleground by 8 a.m. Hope looked at Carter incredulously, wearing a rose-gold blazer that contrasted with her pallor. "How could you have allowed this to occur? Those documents were crucial." Ever the practical one, Ridge threw his fist down on the table. "The transaction is doomed if we don't re-sign with Lion & C within 72 hours. And without it, Forrester's reputation suffers along with Hope's line." Despite her empathy, Brooke Logan attacked Carter with parental zeal. "You only had one job. Just one job." Carter's voice cracked. I never did." Steffy interrupted in a cold tone, "Save it. We need answers, not justifications. The repercussions, a network of doubt." Hope, crushed by defeat, withdrew to her design studio as the board descended into anarchy. Her aspirations were ridiculed by mannequins dressed in incomplete dresses. Ever her fulcrum, Liam discovered her there, his embrace a tenuous comfort. Though there was doubt in his eyes, he said, "We'll fix this." Carter, meanwhile, began a desperate probe. Although Quinn's late-night intrusion was captured on security tape, blaming Eric's wife without hard evidence was equivalent to professional suicide. After looking over the hazy tape, Zend cautioned, "She's playing you. And you are directly approaching checkmate." Quinn, meanwhile, smirked behind the rim of her glass as she sipped champagne at Il Giardino. "Checkmate?" She purred to an ally who was not visible. "This is check, honey." Hope's reconciliation, the revealed truth. Hope's breaking point occurred during a charity dinner that was held by Elodie Marchand, the CEO of Lion & C. Elodie's assistant pushed a folder across the table as she presented her relaunched vision. It contained copies of the LLC's torn documents that had been anonymously transmitted hours earlier. "Ms. Logan, we respect passion," Elodie stated calmly, "but we need professionalism. Think of our collaboration as over. It was a cruel and public disgrace." Hope ran away as the paparazzi surrounded her, her tears splattering the damning cover sheet of the dossier, which was emblazoned with Quinn's diamond-encrusted Q emblem. Carter's redemption, the final stand of a night. Carter faced Quinn at the Forrester estate with indisputable evidence. "You destroyed her." "Why?" Quinn chuckled sharply. "Carter, power isn't granted. It's already taken. How about you? You were merely collateral." But she was outwitted by Carter, who channeled a loyalty-fueled rage. He received Quinn's bank records in a covert transaction with Spencer Publications fixer, Justin Barber, which revealed her misappropriation from Eric's accounts. Carter said, "Either drop the charges on Hope's LLC or this goes public." Quinn gave a final remark before folding, "You'll regret crossing me." The silver linings and the scars. The Lyon deal was saved, and the LLC documents were re-signed, but the wounds persisted. Despite winning, Hope cut off contact with Carter, causing their trust to erode. With a weak voice, she confessed, "You saved me. However, I will never forget your error that almost brought us to ruin." Carter accepted a promotion to junior executive, resigned to his penance. He told Eric, "I don't deserve the throne," and Eric gave him a sternly forgiving shoulder clasp. Exiled to a villa in Monaco, Quinn planned her comeback. She said, "This isn't over," as her image grinned in a gold mirror. Sheila Carter gazed in the darkness, her laughter a foreshadowing of the mayhem that lay ahead. Eric's turning point, Carter's goals, a struggle for loyalty and legacy in the bold and the beautiful. In the golden light of a Los Angeles sunset, the Forrester mansion seemed less like a house and more like a mausoleum. While a coughing attack ravaged his fragile body, Eric Forrester sat at his grand piano, his shaking fingers hanging over the keys, the opening notes of Chopin's Nocturne fading into silence. Beside him on the gleaming floor was a sealed envelope, a new will, its contents ready to start a fire. Carter Walton stood at his penthouse's floor-to-ceiling windows, looking out at the city's glittering cityscape, his reflection shattered by the fissures in his meticulously maintained facade. Eric's voicemail, "Carter, it's time," kept playing. "Come see me tonight. Nobody else can know." The last stand of a patriarch. A tremble in his hands, a misstep at the gala, and a whispered admission to Donna about dizzy episodes he'd been hiding for months were all signs of Eric's slow decline. His quick mind, however, had come up with a last deed to ensure his legacy. He had been working covertly with Carter for weeks on Project Legacy, a bold plan to turn Forrester Creations into an employee-owned trust, guaranteeing the business's autonomy and moral future. By dispersing shares to long-term staff members and designers, the action would deprive Ridge and Steffy of majority control. During a secret meeting in Carter's study, Eric had shared the designs with Carter and said, "You are the only person I trust to carry out this. Ridge will resist. Brooke will become anxious. However, this is how we safeguard the things Stephanie created." Although Carter was devoted to Eric, the plan required sacrifices, such as abandoning Ridge, who had been Carter's mentor for years, and Steffy, who saw Carter as a brother. Even worse, Eric's health was getting worse. Time was running out. The weight of confidentiality. Carter's paradoxes were worshipped in his penthouse. Framed letters from staff members he had assisted during times of crisis shared place with awards for business leadership. The focal point, however, was a locked drawer that held two documents, Sheila Carter's buyout offer and Eric's trust documents. Weeks before, Sheila, ever the opportunist, had confronted Carter at Il Giardino. She had purred, "Eric is dying," as she slipped a folder over the table. "You are essential to my investors' desire for Forrester. I'll make you CEO of the new empire if you help me. Or drown beside Eric by remaining his lapdog." Although Carter had rejected the offer, Sheila's remarks lingered. Now that Eric's future was uncertain and the success of the trust plan depended on confidentiality, Carter's determination faltered. What happens if Eric doesn't make it through the rollout? Zend, who had turned into an unwilling confidant, had been asked. Zend gave a practical response. "Then you'll be Steffy's and Ridge's enemy. The dissecting, a broken family." At a board meeting intended to commemorate Forrester's quarterly profits, the bomb went off. With Carter by his side, Eric summoned his last remaining power to expose Project Legacy. With immediate effect, 51% of Forrester shares will be converted to an employee trust, Eric declared in a shaky but determined voice. Carter will serve as interim CEO and supervise the transition. The room exploded. Ridge's cheeks red, he leaped to his feet. "You're giving him our company? Are you insane?" Glistening with tears, Steffi turned against Carter. "You were aware of this?" How could you? Ever the mediator, Brooke attempted to ease the tension, but Hope's subdued inquiry went deeper. Carter, did you do this for the staff or for yourself? Sheila's shadow, a garden serpent. Sheila struck as the Forresters collapsed. She presented Carter as a cunning opportunist taking advantage of a dying man by leaking to Spencer Publications brief excerpts of Carter's conversations with Eric. Before midday, the title, Forrester Coup, COO Carter's Ruthless Grab for Power, had gone viral. Sensing vulnerability, Quinn crept back into Eric's life. She pressed a dossier with pictures of Carter entering Sheila's penthouse into his hands and whispered, "You're being played. He is collaborating with her. It always has." Despite his doubts, Eric faltered. He held the pictures in front of Carter. "Be honest with me. Right now." Carter only made a partial confession. "She came up to me, but I resisted." "Eric, you have my loyalty. Not her." The request was ignored. Test of loyalty. Carter was suspended when Eric's trust was betrayed. Project Legacy was automatically halted by Steffy, the acting CEO. However, the offer of ownership inspired the workers to rebel. Production was halted by a strike, and Zend, divided between Steffy and Carter, gave the press access to the trust designs. In order to privatize Forrester and destroy Eric's legacy, Ridge joined forces with Bill Spencer to execute a hostile takeover. Ridge surrounded Eric in his study and insisted that he sign over his shares. "Or I'll let Bill take everything apart." Eric's disobedience was hardly audible. "You are not my son." A play of sacrifice. Carter looked to Hope, his lone supporter, in the final hours before the takeover vote. He pushed the papers across the kitchen table and said, "Eric's trust was genuine. We can block Ridge if we can secure a yes vote from 30% of the workforce." As Hope looked through the materials, her doubts vanished. "This is what Mom desired. What I desire." In a show of solidarity, they rallied the workforce, bringing designers, seamstresses, and interns into the boardroom. With a firm voice, Hope said, "We are Forrester. And we don't vote." When wheelchair-bound and haggard Eric cast the decisive vote from the doorway, the outcome was a stalemate. The trust remains intact. The price of winning. It was a bittersweet aftermath. After being admitted to the hospital due to the strain, Eric held Carter's hand. "You fulfilled your commitment." Carter grinned wearily. "Nearly." The word almost persisted. Despite being thwarted, Sheila had leverage because of a recording of Carter's first hesitancy to turn down her offer. Exiled yet vindictive, Quinn murmured in Ridge's ear, "This isn't over." A new pawn in the game, Finn's child, was held in Steffy's arms in the shadows after a positive pregnancy test. One reality reverberated as the camera drew away from the Forrester estate, the legacy intact but the family split. Everyone suffers in the struggle for dominance.